The sun dipped behind the horizon, painting the sky with streaks of orange and purple as a group of adventurous friends ventured deeper into the heart of the forest. Among them were Sarah, a spirited girl with a penchant for exploring the unknown, Max, her loyal and inquisitive best friend, and Alex, the daredevil of the group who thrived on adrenaline rushes. They had heard rumors about a forsaken house hidden within the woods, an eerie place that had become the center of chilling tales and ghostly folklore. It was said to be haunted by vengeful spirits and cursed souls of those who had met a tragic end. Superstitious whispers from the townsfolk added a sense of dread to the children's imaginations, but curiosity burned brightly within them, overshadowing their fears. As the trio weaved through the ancient trees, the foliage grew thicker and the air turned colder. The forest seemed to hush its usual symphony of sounds, leaving an unsettling silence in its wake. Sarah's heart pounded against her ribcage, but she couldn't quell the excitement that surged through her veins. She had always been captivated by mysteries, and the abandoned house held the promise of a thrilling adventure. "Guys, are you sure this is a good idea?" Max asked hesitantly, glancing back toward the fading light of the world they knew. "I mean, what if those stories are true?" "Nah, it's all just fairy tales meant to scare kids," Alex scoffed, brushing off Max's concerns with a cocky grin. "We'll be fine. Besides, who's brave enough to come with us? Not the faint-hearted, that's for sure." Determined to prove himself, Max swallowed his anxiety and trudged forward with his friends. With each step, the atmosphere grew heavier, and an inexplicable force seemed to draw them closer to the heart of darkness. The rumors had not lied. There, amidst the thicket, stood a decrepit mansion, its once elegant facade now marred by time and neglect. Broken windows gaped like hollow eyes, and the vines that draped the walls looked like skeletal fingers clawing at the crumbling bricks. The very sight sent shivers down the children's spines, but they could not look away. "This is it," Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible. The house seemed to pulse with an eerie energy, and despite the warning signs, an otherworldly magnetism pulled them inside. A feeling of déjà vu washed over Sarah, as though she had been here before in a dream, or perhaps a nightmare. "Do we really have to go in?" Max's voice quivered with uncertainty. Sarah hesitated for a moment, then mustered the courage to lead the way. She sensed that there was more to this abandoned dwelling than met the eye, and a nagging feeling told her that they were meant to discover its secrets. They crossed the threshold into the dark interior. Dust motes danced in the air, illuminated by the faint rays of twilight that filtered through the windows. The creaking floorboards groaned under their weight, and the house seemed to groan in response, as if awakening from a long slumber. "Sarah, I don't like this," Max admitted, his wide eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of movement. As they ventured deeper into the house, they stumbled upon old photographs scattered across the floor. The images depicted a family, happy faces frozen in time, surrounded by the warmth of their home. Yet something seemed off, as though a haunting sadness lurked behind those smiling visages. "I don't think anyone's lived here for a very long time," Sarah observed, her voice hushed with respect for the past. The children explored further, and a series of strange occurrences unsettled them. Unexplained whispers echoed through the empty rooms, and the temperature plummeted to an icy chill. It was as if the house itself were alive, breathing with an unseen presence. And then they heard it. The distant sound of a piano playing a haunting melody, its notes piercing the silence. The melody seemed to resonate from the depths of their souls, stirring emotions they couldn't comprehend. "Did you hear that?" Max stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. The others nodded, their faces pale and eyes wide with a mix of awe and terror. The source of the eerie music remained a mystery, yet they were drawn towards it like moths to a flame. With trepidation, they followed the haunting melody, their heartbeats synced to the rhythm of the piano. It led them to a grand room, where a spectral figure sat at the piano, their fingers gliding effortlessly across the keys. The ethereal musician seemed oblivious to their presence, lost in a timeless reverie. Who are you?" Sarah managed to utter. The figure turned its head slowly, and the children gasped as their eyes met the ghostly gaze of a forlorn soul. A flicker of recognition passed through Sarah's mind, as if she had glimpsed this apparition before. Without a word, the ghostly pianist faded into nothingness, leaving the children in stunned silence. They exchanged bewildered glances, and in that moment, they knew their lives had been irrevocably entwined with the enigmatic past of this forsaken house. Little did they know that the shadows of history were about to engulf them, as they were about to embark on a journey through the haunted halls of the abandoned mansion. A journey that would challenge their courage, unravel the secrets of the past, and awaken the dormant fears hidden within their souls. Bolstered by their initial encounter with the ghostly pianist, the children found themselves inexplicably drawn back to the abandoned mansion. Sarah's curiosity burned brighter than ever, and Max, though still apprehensive, couldn't bear to let his friends face the mysteries alone. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, they ventured once more into the heart of darkness. As they entered the dilapidated house, the atmosphere seemed to shift. The air hung heavy with anticipation, as though the walls themselves were whispering secrets of the past. Each creak and groan of the floorboards echoed through the silent halls, creating an eerie symphony of long-forgotten memories. "Okay, this time let's stick together," Sarah said, trying to sound brave despite the unease gnawing at her. They explored the ground floor first, where the parlors and dining rooms lay in shadows. The furniture was shrouded in dusty white sheets, draped like ghosts over long-forgotten memories. Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were intruding upon a place where time had stopped, but where echoes of the past still lingered. As they ascended the creaky staircase, they reached the upper floors, where the bedrooms once held the dreams and secrets of those who had lived here. The wooden steps seemed to protest their ascent, but the allure of the unknown was too strong to resist. In one of the rooms, Sarah discovered a faded diary hidden beneath a pile of tattered linens. Its pages, yellowed with age, revealed the heartaches and joys of a young girl named Emily, who had lived in the house long ago. Her words painted a vivid picture of a life filled with both laughter and sorrow. "Listen to this," Sarah read aloud, her voice hushed with reverence. "Today, I explored the old oak tree in the garden. It's my secret place now, where I go to escape when the world feels too overwhelming. I wonder if anyone will ever find this diary and read about the adventures of little Emily." Max and Alex listened attentively, their curiosity piqued by the intimate glimpse into a life once lived. The diary ignited their imagination, and they began to feel a connection to the girl who had penned those words so long ago. The more they explored, the more they discovered hidden corners of the mansion. Mysterious symbols etched into the walls, long-forgotten toys scattered on the floor, and letters from unknown pen pals all hinted at the lives of the past inhabitants. The children couldn't help but wonder what had transpired within these walls and what secrets the house had been keeping. As they delved deeper into the mansion, they stumbled upon a peculiar wall covered in intricate carvings. The enigmatic symbols seemed to pulse with a faint light, drawing them closer like a moth to a flame. "What do you think these mean?" Alex asked, tracing his fingers along the patterns. "I'm not sure," Sarah replied, her eyes narrowed in concentration. "But they must be significant. They feel different from the rest of the house, almost like a protective barrier." As if on cue, the symbols glowed brighter, casting an eerie radiance that illuminated the room. The children exchanged wide-eyed glances, their hearts pounding in unison. It was as if the mansion itself was responding to their presence, revealing its secrets one puzzle piece at a time. Intrigued, they began to decipher the cryptic markings. With every symbol they decoded, a flicker of insight into the past sparked within their minds. The walls seemed to resonate with the energy of those who had once lived there, and the children found themselves transported back in time, witnessing fleeting moments of the past, like ghosts lingering in the present. A ghostly vision of Emily appeared, playing with her dolls in one corner of the room. The children watched in wonder as the scenes unfolded, immersing them in the lives of the house's former inhabitants. But the more they unearthed, the more restless the house became. The walls seemed to pulse with growing intensity, and the children felt a mounting sense of urgency. They knew they were treading on the edge of something powerful, and they couldn't help but wonder if they were playing with forces beyond their comprehension. "Guys, maybe we should stop," Max suggested, his voice tinged with fear. "This is getting too weird." Sarah hesitated, torn between her thirst for knowledge and the growing unease in her heart. But before they could decide on their next move, a chilling gust of wind blew through the room, extinguishing the candle they had brought. In the darkness, a haunting voice echoed from the shadows. "Who dares to disturb the past?" Startled, the children huddled together, trying to discern the source of the voice. The symbols on the wall glowed brighter, their light revealing the specter of a stern figure, cloaked in the attire of a bygone era. "Emily?" Sarah's voice trembled with uncertainty. The figure turned its gaze toward her, and the children felt the weight of 1,000 years in its eyes. "I am not Emily. I am the guardian of this house, and I shall not let you meddle with its secrets." The children swallowed hard, realizing that their curiosity had led them to awaken something ancient and powerful. The mansion seemed to groan, its very foundations shaking with the force of the awakened spirit. "We didn't mean any harm," Alex said, trying to find the right words to appease the apparition. "We were just trying to understand the past." The guardian's stern expression softened, and a glimmer of melancholy crossed its spectral features. "The past is not always meant to be unraveled, for it holds both light and darkness. Be wary of the knowledge you seek, for some secrets are better left undisturbed." The guardian's warning hung in the air like a heavy fog, and the children understood that they had trespassed into realms beyond their comprehension. They had awakened the past, but with it came a consequence they could not yet fathom. As the encounter with the guardian settled in their hearts, the children realized that their journey had only just begun. The mansion's walls, once shrouded in mystery, now seemed to watch them with newfound scrutiny, as though gauging their worthiness to uncover the depths of the house's enigmatic past. Little did they know that their exploration had ignited a chain of events that would unveil a haunting tale of sorrow, betrayal, and redemption. The mysteries of the past would test their bonds of friendship, challenge their courage, and lead them down a treacherous path where the line between reality and the supernatural blurred. As the children stood in the darkened room, surrounded by the secrets of the abandoned mansion, they knew that their lives would never be the same again. For once you open the door to the past, there is no turning back. The past demands to be heard, and its voice echoes through the present, refusing to be silenced. With the encounter of the guardian still fresh in their minds, the children's steps inside the abandoned mansion became more hesitant. The air around them seemed charged with an electric tension, and every creak and groan of the house sent shivers down their spines. The once alluring mysteries of the mansion now seemed tinged with a sinister aura that made them question their decision to explore further. Sarah tried to suppress the growing fear within her, not wanting to admit to her friends that the strange events were starting to unnerve her. Max, too, felt a gnawing sense of unease, though he tried his best to maintain a brave front. Alex, being the reckless one, brushed off the eerie occurrences with a shaky grin, though his eyes betrayed his true emotions. As they moved through the dimly lit corridors, the shadows on the walls seemed to dance in macabre patterns. Each flickering candle cast unsettling silhouettes that twisted and contorted, forming strange shapes that played tricks on their eyes. "Did you see that?" Max stammered, pointing to a shadow that resembled a twisted face. Sarah's heart pounded, but she forced a laugh, trying to maintain a semblance of composure. "Just a trick of the light, Max. It's an old creepy house after all. Our minds are playing tricks on us." But with every step, the inexplicable events escalated. Muffled whispers echoed from unseen corners. The chilling draft seemed to carry ominous messages, and the paintings on the walls appeared to watch their every move with haunting eyes. Though the children tried to convince themselves that it was all their imagination, the presence of the supernatural was becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. In one room, they found a child's toy spinning on its own, as if moved by an unseen hand. The old-fashioned jack-in-the-box popped open without anyone touching it, revealing a grinning clown that seemed more sinister than playful. "Okay, this is getting creepy," Alex admitted, trying to mask his fear with bravado. Max glanced at Sarah, who fought to maintain her calm facade. Maybe we should leave. I mean, we've seen enough, right? Sarah hesitated, torn between her desire to continue unraveling the mysteries and her growing fear of what lurked in the shadows. But before she could respond, a sudden gust of wind slammed a nearby door shut with a resounding thud. The children jumped, and their nerves were further frayed by the sinister laughter that seemed to fill the air. Sarah's heart raced, and she realized that they were no longer alone in the mansion. Something else was there with them, something that fed off their fear. "Let's get out of here," Max urged, his voice tinged with panic. But the door they had entered through was now locked tight, trapping them inside the darkened heart of the mansion. Panic bubbled up within them as they frantically searched for an escape route. "We must have taken a wrong turn," Sarah exclaimed, trying to steady her breath. Alex banged on the locked door, shouting for someone, anyone, to hear them. But the mansion seemed to devour their cries, leaving them trapped in its unforgiving embrace. As they continued to explore in search of an exit, the mansion seemed to change around them. Walls shifted, corridors elongated, and the layout of the house became an ever-changing labyrinth. The children were lost, adrift in a nightmarish puzzle that defied logic and reason. And then, in the distance, they heard a mournful wail, an anguished cry that sent shivers down their spines. The sound seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere all at once, enveloping them in a haunting chorus of sorrow. "Is someone else here?" Max whispered, his voice barely audible over the eerie wailing. Sarah's eyes darted around, searching for the source of the sound. "I don't know. It could be another ghost." As they followed the mournful cries, the walls seemed to close in around them, pressing upon their senses. The oppressive darkness threatened to consume them, suffocating their resolve and leaving them vulnerable to the growing dread. In a room at the end of a narrow corridor, they found the source of the wailing, a specter of a woman, her eyes filled with anguish and her ethereal form shrouded in sorrow. She reached out to them, her transparent fingers almost tangible, and the children felt a surge of empathy for the tormented spirit. "Who are you?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and compassion. The woman's voice echoed like a distant memory, filled with grief and longing. "I am Isabella. My children and I lived in this house long ago, but a tragic fate befell us. We are trapped here, bound to this place by an unspeakable darkness." "What happened?" Max inquired, drawn to the sorrowful tale. Isabella's words painted a haunting picture of a once happy family torn apart by betrayal and greed. The darkness that had engulfed their lives had become an eternal curse, chaining them to the abandoned mansion for eternity. Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes as she listened to Isabella's heart-rending story. The children could feel the weight of her pain, and a sense of responsibility washed over them. "We'll help you," Sarah promised, her voice filled with determination. "We'll find a way to free you and your children from this torment." Isabella's spectral form flickered with hope, a glimmer of light in her eternal darkness. "Beware, young ones, for the darkness that binds us is relentless. But if you are brave and true of heart, you may yet find a way to break this curse." The children nodded, their resolve strengthened by the encounter. They knew that their journey was far from over, that the mysteries of the abandoned mansion ran deeper than they could have ever imagined. As they left Isabella's room, the mansion seemed to whisper promises of unimaginable horrors and untold truths. The shadows danced with malevolence, and the darkness seemed to close in around them like a predatory beast. Yet the children pressed on, for they were bound not only by curiosity, but also by compassion. The call of darkness had captured their hearts, and they were determined to confront the malevolent forces that held the mansion in its icy grip. But little did they know that the darkness was not the only malevolence within those walls. The true nature of the curse was far more insidious, and the children were about to face a perilous battle that would test their courage, loyalty, and, ultimately, their belief in the power of light to overcome the darkest shadows. As the children delved deeper into the mysteries of the abandoned mansion, the dark forces within its walls began to stir. The air crackled with a malevolent energy, and shadows writhed like restless souls trapped in eternal torment. The line between the living and the dead blurred, and the ghosts of the past began to materialize before them, seeking to draw them into their haunted world. Terrifying apparitions haunted their every step, leaving the children trembling with fear. Faces of anguished spirits contorted in agony, and eyes filled with sorrow bore into their souls. The ghosts whispered sorrowful laments, pleading for release from the curse that bound them to the mansion. Max's nerves were frayed, and he struggled to keep his composure. "We shouldn't have come here. We've awakened something terrible." Sarah clutched Max's hand, her heart pounding. "We can't turn back now. We have to face whatever haunts this place and put an end to its suffering." Alex, though visibly unnerved, nodded in agreement. "She's right. We can't leave them trapped here. We have to find a way to break the curse." As they pressed forward, they encountered the ghostly figure of a young boy, his eyes wide with terror. He pointed toward the decrepit staircase, where dark spirits seemed to congregate, lured by the children's presence. The children hesitated, unsure if they should heed the boy's warning or continue their perilous journey. But the boy's spectral form dissipated, leaving behind a chilling echo of his voice. "Run! They feed on fear!" With that warning, the children found themselves surrounded by a horde of malevolent phantoms. Faces twisted in hatred, they reached out with spectral hands, trying to ensnare their young visitors. "We won't be afraid. We won't let you control us," Sarah shouted, trying to bolster her courage. The children held hands, forming a protective circle against the encroaching darkness. They closed their eyes and chanted words of strength, refusing to give in to the paralyzing terror that threatened to overwhelm them. A powerful surge of energy emanated from their joined hands, creating a barrier of light that pushed back the malevolent spirits. The ghosts recoiled, their haunting cries echoing through the mansion. Drawing strength from each other, the children continued their journey, determined to confront the heart of the curse that imprisoned the spirits. As they reached the heart of the mansion, a room that seemed to pulse with an eerie aura, the darkness intensified. In the center of the room stood a mysterious ancient artifact, an ornate silver mirror adorned with ethereal engravings. The mirror seemed to hold a power that transcended time itself, drawing the children closer like a moth to a flame. "It's the source of the curse," Sarah whispered, her voice tinged with awe and trepidation. "We have to find a way to break it." As the children approached the mirror, their reflections distorted into grotesque caricatures. Sarah saw herself with hollow eyes and a sinister grin. Max's reflection morphed into a twisted, tormented version of himself, and Alex's image appeared as a malevolent specter. With every step, the mirror seemed to pull them further into its inescapable grasp. The spirits of the past emerged from the glass, their haunting visages overlapping with the children's reflections. "We have to destroy it," Max declared, searching for a way to shatter the cursed artifact. But as he raised his hand to strike the mirror, a ghostly hand emerged from the glass and grasped his wrist. The room trembled, and the spirits surged forward, threatening to drag the children into the mirror's nightmarish realm. "We have to do this together," Sarah cried, reaching out to her friends. With their combined strength, they managed to break free from the mirror's hold. The artifact crackled with an ominous energy, and the spirits wailed in fury as the mirror's power weakened. But breaking the curse would not be so simple. The mirror began to project visions from the past, revealing the chilling truth of the mansion's dark history. In the reflection, the children saw the tale of betrayal and greed that had befallen Isabella and her family. They witnessed the heart-wrenching moment when Isabella's husband had conspired with dark forces to claim the mansion's hidden wealth, leading to a tragic chain of events that had sealed the family's fate. The vision unfolded, revealing how Isabella had fought to protect her children from the darkness that consumed her husband. She had made a desperate plea to the Guardian, a powerful spirit bound to the mansion, to break the curse and save her family. The Guardian's stern figure emerged from the shadows, revealing its true form, an ancient and vengeful entity, guardian of both the mansion and the secrets it held. It had been bound to protect the house from intruders and those who sought its hidden treasures. But as the Guardian had granted Isabella's plea for salvation, a sinister deal had been struck. The Guardian's protection had come at a heavy price. The souls of Isabella and her children, forever bound to the mansion, doomed to relive their tragic tale for eternity. Tears streamed down Sarah's cheeks as she watched the heart-rending story unfold. She felt the pain and torment that Isabella and her children had endured, their suffering etched into the fabric of the mansion. "We have to help them," Alex said, his voice trembling with emotion. "We have to break the curse and set them free." With a newfound determination, the children faced the mirror once more. They knew that the only way to break the curse was to confront the Guardian, to appeal to its sense of justice and compassion. They poured their hearts into a heartfelt plea, vowing to right the wrongs of the past and to bring peace to the tormented spirits. Their words resonated with a profound sincerity, and the mirror's surface began to crack with the weight of their emotions. The Guardian emerged from the mirror, its formidable presence looming over the children. But this time, it seemed different, less hostile, more contemplative. The children's words had touched a long-buried sense of compassion within the ancient entity. As they pleaded for the Guardian to break the curse, a tense silence hung in the air. The mansion seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the Guardian's decision. Finally, the Guardian's solemn voice echoed through the room. "Your words have awakened a part of me long forgotten. I will grant your request, but be warned. The darkness that taints this mansion will not easily relinquish its grip. You must be prepared to face the darkest shadows that dwell within this place." With those words, the mirror shattered, releasing a blinding burst of light that enveloped the children. They felt a surge of energy, and a sense of liberation washed over them, as if the shackles of the curse had been lifted. The spirits of Isabella and her children appeared before them, their faces filled with gratitude and relief. The mansion seemed to sigh with the weight of the curse finally broken, and a peaceful serenity settled over the once haunted halls. As the children stepped outside the mansion, the sun began to rise, casting its warm embrace upon the world. The forest seemed to come alive with the sounds of birdsong and the rustling of leaves, a stark contrast to the eerie silence that had once enveloped the abandoned mansion. The journey had been perilous, and the children had faced terrors beyond their imagination. But they had emerged victorious, and in doing so, they had not only freed the tormented spirits, but also discovered the strength within themselves. With hearts full of gratitude and memories of the haunted mansion etched into their souls, the children left the cursed place behind, forever changed by their encounter with the past. As they walked away, the mansion began to fade into the mists of history, returning to the realm of whispers and folklore. But the children knew that the memories of Isabella and her family would live on, carried within the hearts of those who had dared to confront the darkness and bring forth the light.